Yeah, I mean, I guess there's always that concept that there's always some people who are ahead of the curve,
Yeah, exactly.
and the majority tend to follow the people who took the shot first and put the neck on the line. Um, and I mean, in regards of that, I mean, it seems like when it comes to HoloLens, so I was having this conversation with my friend Ricardo, who owns was one of the co-owners of Chronos VR. And right now they're more focused on, it's like they're like an academy where they teach younger people how to start to code and create
That's cool.
ideas and the whole nine yards. He worked at Microsoft
Okay.
before starting his company. Um, in regards to AI, VR, or VR, or sorry, augmented virtual reality, HoloLens, what is HoloLens exactly when it comes down to these terms?
Great question. And I think it helps define like what are these things. We say AR, VR, MR. There's even
Right.
XR out there. So mixed reality is really like this really broad but generic definition of just a blending of the physical and these digital worlds together, right? And depending on like how much physical versus how much digital there is, you get more augmented than say virtual reality. That's kind of how it's like a spectrum is how mixed reality should be thought of. So in the case of augmented reality, the levers you're pulling are you're having more physical reality. So you're able to see the things around you. So the spaces, for example, and you might just be digitizing, for example, what I might see or what I might hear. But if you continue like digitizing things like the sense of touch or the sense of smell, and you get, maybe I'm creating the entire environment that you see. I'm not just adding things to what you see in the real world. You
Hmm.
get more digital, you get more to the virtual reality world. So on one hand, you basically have something like HoloLens where I'm seeing the real world and I'm putting digital content into it that I can interact with. That's more like an augmented universe. And then the virtual universe is like Neo being plugged into the Matrix, right? He doesn't even
Right.
know that he's in the Matrix and everything is digital,
Your whole
including
reality.
his whole five human senses are just digitized. And so generally today, most people, when they play with virtual reality, it's something what they call an occluded device, right? I can't actually see where I am, and it creates this entire spatial world. And maybe you're playing with haptics controllers, and maybe you're using your voice or whatever. And then in the case of something like HoloLens or like a Magic Leap or other devices out there, that are you're be able to create creating holographic objects that act like physical objects and they interact. So the idea that I could create a coffee table that's a hologram, it acts just like a coffee table in the real world. If I put a hologram on top of it, it stays there. If I knock something off a table, it doesn't go floating into the air, it falls to the ground because of gravity, right? It would act like it would be if it was a real object. That I think is to me, again, virtual reality has amazing power, but that idea of augmenting our universe, dude, that the power there is just bananas. Like
Yeah.
you have the ability to do so many things. And I mean, think about like something as basic as like, oh, I'm going to build a new house, or I'm going to remodel my kitchen, and I want to see what it looks like, down to the granite countertops, like right where they're going to actually be. Holy crap! Like that's got so much potential, let alone going, I want to go do an operation on a patient and I want to see what the inside of their body looks like X-ray vision. I want to be able to overlay
Right.
that and plan how I'm going to do surgery. Like that's got massive, I mean, people are working on this today, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
like the power of like that augmented space. And of course, virtual reality is great because you don't have to have the physical world. You can just create the digital universe. You could be on Mars. You could be floating around in space. You could be at the bottom of the ocean. It doesn't matter. And frankly, the leaving choice to the customers, flexibility. Hey, you want augmented? Use augmented. You want to use virtual, but they shouldn't be exclusive to one another. Like if you're in the
Sure.
virtual world and we want to have this conversation right now and I have an augmented device, you got a VR device, we should be able to do that. Like there shouldn't be anything stopping us because of the modality that we picked. You know what I'm saying? So that's to me is the power of mixed reality. We don't care what device you're on. It's all the same little universe. It just depends on, how much physical versus how much digital you wanted to have.
So I guess in more or less, this is really a full ecosystem that you shouldn't see it as like individual entities that are just different worlds. Because it really,
Yeah.
really does seem like this, this whole era of 5G and technology waves, they're trying to really connect it all together.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the new word these days is like metaverse. If you've
Metaverse.
probably heard,
Okay.
like I mean, to your point, like the idea that these little universes of these little networks of people will come together, and uh that's, the content is going to be king versus the device that you're engaging the content on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be like, I love using a PC or a mobile device because it's 2 dimensions and I'm fine with that. And then there might be a scenario where they need to take that same content and upgrade it to 3-dimensional. Great. Is that 3-dimensional real? Is that 3-dimensional digitized? Does it matter? Like that, like all those things should just interact with one another, and the content and where the content is and how that is being embraced should be the king. But that's hard when, the equivalent I can make is we're building a bunch of cars with no roads and no gas stations and no electricity. Like, you got to have the whole ecosystem, to your point, to make automotives and trucks all work together. You can't have them without roads and people and mechanics. Like, you got to have a whole universe. And so that's where I think we are with mixed reality today, is it's not just one person playing. It's like all these people are investing in this tech. I mean, it's the venture capital business in Silicon Valley is going nuts investing in this tech. And you got lots of companies that are being, created. You got others that are being bought out. I mean, like, you're just seeing this quick evolution. You got processors from people like Qualcomm that just keep coming out. So, I mean, it's here. It's not, I mean, it's here to stay for sure, and to evolve into something else. But, we'll be pontificating about what this will look like in 5 years when we have another one of these podcasts. Like, hey, remember back when we were building the Ford Model T of mixed reality and now it's amazing? Like, that's what it's going to be.
All right. Thanks for watching this clip from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch the full episode, go ahead and check out us at appropriateculture.com. You can also check us out on social media platforms at Appropriate Culture. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.